One thing that can get said about the pre-Socratics, and one of the problems with this, is that these are kind of all over the place. You start off with some of the things that are kind of like, you start off with, these two big groups are sort of the Eleans versus the Ionians. And there's sort of a clear distinction in how they approach philosophy and what they're doing. The Ionians are very interested in the material world. They want to know what this physical world is. What is this stuff, this stuff that is the physical world? What is this matter? The Eleans, on the other hand, are pretty much accepting that the world, the physical world, isn't real. It's not actually real. And so they are not accepting of that approach, and so they're coming to it with a completely different perspective. Now, they are essentially wanting to know, they're basically not, they aren't accepting the physical world is real. They're basically arguing against it, and that's basically where the crux of their discussion lands. Now, the other side is also the Heraclitus and these people who say, change is an illusion, and some of the more epistemological effects that come from that. And so, there's very different things. They're all kind of different. They're all very specific. They kind of come from different areas. And so you kind of have to accept that, in some ways, some of these views are not, how shall we say, they're not as... it's not like you're just going to read and, it's kind of they're not addressing each other. They're each kind of addressing their own little thing. And in some ways, they're very different in their approach. They're very specific. Now, one of the things is you have the Ionians and the Eleans. The Ionians are essentially people who come from or somehow related to a region known as Ionia, a town, and the other ones are ones related to a city called Alea. And they basically get their name from the idea that, if you had a group of philosophers who were from Springfield, you might call them the Springfieldians or something like the Springfieldites or whatever. And so that would be basically the main difference between the two, between how those names derived and where they go, is they kind of just were groups and they discussed and worked and developed their ideas in collaboration in those areas, and that was kind of an area of interest. And then another area was discussing and talking about another idea, and they kind of worked together. And so some of these are very much regionally specific discussions.